need that sun.
Yes, we do.
We need that sun.
Oh, I know it. Oh, I know it. I know it. I know it. I know it.
Absolutely true.
I love the sun. But when I'm here in Africa, it's different. I don't have to hide from the sun on the level that I had to hide from the sun out there.
Okay.
I don't know why. Okay, maybe because I'm on the level. So it's different energy coming up from the ground. Mm-hmm. It's not full of cement and asphalt. That.
True. True.
So we got this different energy coming up.
Well, you know, development, industrialization is a benefit and a curse. It really is. There are ills that come with all of this new technology. That even if we don't, you know how, as we bring in new technological developments, a lot of times these companies would have gone through and did some type of causative research and quality control to say X, Y, Z could happen. But there's still what you call the unknown. And you can't know what those unknowns are until the stuff gets put into operation, because nobody has telepathy. And so in doing some of that, they don't know what permeates with some of this technology and development stuff. They just don't know. You know, so yeah.
Until it's too late.
Yeah, well,
In some cases.
right, the kids have already been poisoned by then, haven't they?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So, yeah. But we have to be cognizant of that too, as well as know we're still within a developing nation. And just like, you know, they use, they're doing biogas or biodigesters, you know, for septic waste, etc., as well as the soaker waste and stuff. So there's ways to, maybe you don't have this massive dynamic plumbing system like you get back in the West, but there's ways to utilize some of this waste in terms of biogas for other stuff. But we're just so asphyxiated on, well, I left the West and I want everywhere I go to be like the West. Well, no, then you can just stay at home. I mean, really though, wouldn't the world be so boring if everywhere was the same? I mean, it really would be boring. There would be no livelihood, no liveliness to it. So, yeah, anyway, that's my spirit.
And before, to piggyback off of what you said, before all this modern technology and development and all that stuff, the biodegradable waste and stuff, the earth used to take all that stuff and recycle it and give it back to us in a blessing.
Because she's a living thing.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know she's a living thing.
She's a living thing, yes. Right, exactly. 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 But I got you. But you're right. You know, one of the biggest attributes or examples of that is when you look at our children today. And we just had this conversation. I was on a gentleman's radio station, and that video will come out later. It'd be broken up because it was so long, but he and I were talking about how children play on the continent and versus how children play in the West.
Come on with it.
Children out in the West have to be forced to go outside. I don't care what they in Italy, Estonia, the UK, or America. They have to be forced to go outside. Whereas these children here, that's the normal capacity of being a part of a kid. And for us, when you think about it, you played outside in a normal play as well. But now, because of technology, in the West, the kids and the parents perpetuate all this foolishness. They do. You buy them iPads. Every cutting edge technology that you get, you're getting it for your kid.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you should not give your children certain things, but they don't have to have every new thing that comes out.
Right.
And then they don't go outside. The children are putting on weight because they're not exercising. I mean, we would stay outside until street lights would come on, playing tetherball, badminton, street football.
It's different now. People live differently. We don't have that sense of community growing up. I know when I was growing up.
But you played outside.
You could do something down the street, and before you got up, we lived up a hill. Before you got up the hill, somebody had told my parent, one of my parents. You know what I'm saying? It's not like that. Exactly. A lot of people don't want their children outside. It's dangerous. In a sense, it's dangerous. So they don't want their children outside where they can't see them.
That's the type of world
that we live in now.
certain people made it.
Exactly.
It's not just about parents placating their children with devices. That's part of it in some cases. But think about how in some cities people live. If you're in a city like New York and you're on the 4th floor, the 14th floor, where you sending your child? Downstairs. I mean, it's not the same kind of community anymore.
In that community, previously, let's say the 60s and the 70s, didn't those people
in the 80s?
But didn't those children play outside?
Yeah, but now, the sense of community, we have lost that in most of our communities. It's gone. That's why in New York, I like living in East Flatbush because it's a Caribbean community. And they're still like, hello, good morning. People still bring food to your house. And like, if someone dies or gets married or whatever, most of the neighbors know one another, because in certain parts of East Flatbush, like where I live, the house that I lived in, they've been there since 1977, and most of the people on the block have been there since ever. So they all know one another. They've watched you raise your children, your grandchildren. You know, in some cases, the grandchildren are now the owners of the, because they're the caretakers of the grandparents, or however it is now. So all of those people are still in the same community. So the children are outside, riding their bikes, on skateboards, even if they're outside with their devices, because it's still that feel of a community. But most neighborhoods are not like that. I won't say most. A lot of neighborhoods are not like that anymore. You can't even tell a child, baby, get out of the street on the bike without the moms. And what she say to you? Don't talk to my child.
No, you
so
yes, indeed.
Have that same sense of community
yes, indeed.
That we used
because
to
they'll be
have.
ready to put one in you. Just for looking out for the safety of the kid.
Well, in my neighborhood, please, Miss Nell could say, they call me by my middle name, Lynn, get your out of that street. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, I was going to whip up my parents didn't let other people hit us, but they could discipline us. And all she had to do was tell me to get out of the street. What am I going to do? Get my butt out of the street and pray she doesn't tell my mom. And pray that she tells my dad I was in the street and I shouldn't have been, because, I could get over. Pray that she didn't tell my mother, because she had a big mouth. She was going to check me and then go next door and tell them that she checked me. So I was going to get in trouble twice. But now it's not, you can't say anything to these children. Even working with them in the capacity of, when I worked with at-risk youth, even some of the parents, you're bringing your children to a program that I coordinated, that I run, and you don't want me to chastise your child.
That's the purpose of bringing them there, so they can get discipline.
Exactly.
They can get things that they need.
Absolutely.
Training.
Correct.
So it's not just I love the way the innocence that these children have.
I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
To see the little children walking home from school and they don't have a fear. Even women here, the way that they move, people can say, the men control them and African men are so possessive or whatever. But women here, if they choose to really get to rest in their femininity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They don't have that fear. When I was in Tanzania, I was always struck by how, because the traffic, you don't think the traffic is bad here? That traffic is crazy. I would always just be shocked by the fact, just the way the women walk in the street, he's not going to hit me. It's just because they know. And when people would be calm down. Nothing's, we wouldn't dare hit a woman in the streets. It's just...
Everything's so synchronized.
Yes. But they have people can say whatever they want to say about, men being in control here. And that's true. You do need men to navigate here.
Certain waters.
Certain parts.
Of
You
course.
do. And that's fine.
No,
with me.
I would never
That's
take
fine.
away that aspect
Yeah,
of that structure per se. But
But
I
they
understand
have
what
a
you mean
safety
about
that we don't
yes,
have,
yes.
That we don't, and I know American men get. It's not that they're not protecting us either, but in certain situations, it's hard for them to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying black men don't. Look what we've been through. This was.
What we've been through. Look at the 400 years, 500 years
Yes.
of what we've been through. The manhood, in a way, have been stripped,
Yes.
sort of, out of, or suppressed.
Yes.
About that. It's still
Yes.
there, but it has been suppressed.
Yes.
But
Of course.
they can't be the man.
They can't.
But the mother have to worry about her son.
Yeah.
And afraid for him to grow up and get out there and be a man because he might get killed.
Exactly. And she projects her fears
She
onto her
projects
boy
her
child.
fears onto
Yes.
So now he's scared.
So now he's scared. Yes.
Yes.
You know what's interesting? That's even though for being a spouse of a black male husband as well, and you're on the edge every time he goes out. He could just be going to get something to eat, going to get something from the grocery store, etc. And you don't know if he's going to come back in one piece, if he's getting stopped. I mean, seriously, like my ex-husband used to get up at the crack of dawn to go to work because of where he worked, and he worked in oil and gas as well. And it would be dark. He could easily have been stopped. Anything could have happened, and you just don't know. You just don't know. Especially, he was a huge guy. He stood 6'4", and so they look at our men who are big and strapping, although they are chocolate and fine, okay, as a threat to them, and they're not. I mean, some men, as you know, who are even these sizes, they are what you call gentle giants.
That's what they used to call my ex-husband.
You know,
Giant.
yeah.
A gentle giant.
Yeah, because it's not that they're sure they would defend themselves in the face of a problem, but it doesn't mean that they're using that to perpetuate. Yes, exactly. So it's not even just the mothers with their sons.
One thing I'm so happy about here in Africa is that we still have the sense of family, peace, everybody look out for one another, the children are free. And everybody is responsible for everybody's child. So that's why the children can run around and play and be free.
Yes.
Running out there just playing
They're able to be a child as long as they can be a child.
Yes. That's when native born, when they were still here, he was saying when they first came, because they have all those 5 children or whatever, and he said they were on the trotro or whatever it was, and a man was helping him with the children, and he's like, wait,
No, he honestly, seriously was helping with his as if he was the father.
And you see that so much here. It's like, it's just beautiful to witness that. That's why I always say this, I want everyone to come and experience this peace. You don't have to live here. You don't even have to come to God, but go somewhere on the continent.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you cannot articulate it.